Hello everyone, welcome to Just in Case. My name is Esti, and with Tommy and my brother's notes, we are ranking all the cards that are worth opening when Rise of the Floodborn finally hits the shelves. We have customized the tier list we're using to match the theme of Lorcana a bit more. At the top, we have the best of that color. Every time you're building the deck, you have to at least consider using those cards. Or, in other words, the bare necessities. Just a little bit below, we have cards that are undoubtedly strong, but might need a specific deck to bring out the best of them. In other words, phenomenal cosmic powers. Itty bitty living space. Tier 3 cards may be a bit behind these two categories, but they are still good. Under them are cards that are just seemingly below the usual stat lines for that cost, in the category called Under the Sea. And at the bottom, we put cards that just don't really hit our excitement threshold, or so to say, don't care. Emerald being amazing, we have decided to start with that.
Yeah, so let's start with Arthur, Trained Swordsman. It's a cost 4 inkable, for 3, and quest for 2.
Him being a vanilla card, and so vanilla kind of means that those cards that don't have any ability, we're just putting him to don't care, and we're moving on.
Okay, next one is Beast Relentless. It's a inkable, cost 6. It's 4/5, quest for 2, and its ability second wind is whenever an opposing character is damaged, you may ready this character.
This was a unanimous, this is bare necessity. Because it's inkable, you can just put it in, or at least consider putting it into any Emerald deck. While it might not be the best fit for all, because it's inkable, it wouldn't hurt. He's great because you can ready him every time any of the opposing characters get damaged. So even when some character attacks Beast, he attacks back, and that makes you be able to ready him. So I don't know if you have any other comment, but
This is like a proper reading, so when you ready it, you can also use it to quest, which is different from most other similar characters.
she's similar to Ariel in that sense. You can just ready, quest, and very useful.
Okay, next card is Bell Bookworm. It's a non-inkable cost 3. It's a 2/4, quest for 1. Its ability is while an opponent has no cards in their hand, this character gets +2 or.
Everyone thought this is, definitely not phenomenal. It's not necessary for every deck, so we're putting it to still good because it can be pretty powerful in the discard deck, but uninkable, we're putting it into still good.
This is a Bell Hidden Archer. It's a non-inkable cost 5. You can shift it for 3. It's a 3/3, quest for 3 lore, and its ability is Thorny Arrows. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hand.
Here we weren't quite sure where to put it. You guys were like, oh yeah, she's bare necessity. And I, having played with her a few times, I feel like she's quite situational. You have to really be focused on this card. If you are already focused on this card, by the time you reach 5, they really don't have so many cards. Unless, they play Whole New World. And in that specific case, Bell is great. But in order to force them to attack into Bell, you have to have lore advantage. So I don't think she's as necessity, but because it's like 2-1, I kind of fold and let's put her to top tier.
Yeah, but just based on the ability to quest for 3, that's not many cards can do that. And
well, in Emerald, you have at least, from the top of my head, you have at least 3.
yeah, but like having played against decks using this character, that's definitely a bit of a headache. So I think it's a great card. Also, it's legendary, so I think I would be happy opening this. The next card is Bucky, Squirrel's Quick Tutor. It's an inkable cost 2. It's 1/1, quest for 1. It's a ward, so opponents can choose this character except the challenge. And its ability is quick. Whenever you play a Floodborn character, each opponent chooses and discards a card.
We were thinking Under the Sea here, because you have better cards to discard than this one, Under the Sea.
Cheshire Cat, always grinning. It's an inkable cost 2. It's 3/2, and quest for 1.
So it's a bit harder here because you have a Floodborn coming up for Cheshire Cat. So if you take into consideration that you want, the shift targets here, you might want to include this in your deck. So that's why it's maybe not don't care, but it's definitely not something I would include because he just doesn't lore for as much as those cost of characters do in Emerald. So currently it's level 4 for us.
Floodborn Cheshire Cat from the Shadows. It's a cost 8 inkable. You can shift it for 5. It's evasive, and you can exert it to banish chosen damage character.
As I mentioned, this card is so good, it almost saves the other Cheshire Cats from any category and moves them one higher, because banishing at exertion is just amazing. Also, this being evasive makes it really hard to remove as well. It's for us, it's going to bare necessities, and we would love to open him. And also, just noting, we would love to also see him as an enchanted.
Other Cheshire Cat really only makes sense in your deck if you also have this one. Next one is Daisy Duck Secret Agent. It's an inkable cost 4. Its ability is whenever this character quests, each opponent chooses and discards a card.
We were quite divided on her, ranging from tier 2 to 3, 4, depending on, I guess, your preference of playing style. I really like this discard mechanism she kind of represents with questing, and then you force to discard. Consensus dictates that she's still good. She's definitely playable.
Yeah, I think she's better if you combine it with some other cards which benefit from the opponent discarding things. The next card we have is Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman. It's an inkable cost 4. You can shift it for free, and its ability is at the start of your turn, each player may draw a card.
Both of you drawing a card? Is that good? Is like, in what scenario you want the opponent to draw a card?
For example, in mill decks.
Yeah, but are you playing the mill deck, or is the opponent playing the mill deck? Because so far we only have really mill cards that replace both opponents and your hand, so you're milling yourself out with the opponent. I mean, I think if the opponent has a card advantage anyway, then maybe the harm is not that big. I think this is still a good card.
I think it's good to use in decks when you find that you are lacking cards sometimes. Next card is Donald Duck the Sleepwalker. It's an inkable cost 3. Whenever you play an action, this character gets +2 strength this turn.
The artwork is really going for this Donald, and he might be the new mascot of Just In Case for this set. He's going under the sea. We don't appreciate these extra strength cards just yet.
Doesn't seem all that great, but the artwork is nice. Next card is Dr. Facilier, Fortune Teller. It's an inkable cost 7. It's evasive, and whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character can't quest during the next turn.
Okay, so I think we agreed on phenomenal cosmic powers because it's kind of the same stat line as Mother Gothel, and she's also good. Dr. Facilier also evasive, so if Mother Gothel is good, he is great. He might not be bare necessity great, but this is a very useful ability, and it also has his own deck that kind of starting to form that doesn't let the opponent quest.
The next card is Enchantress, Unexpected Judge. It's an inkable cost 2, 1/1, quest for 2, and while being challenged, this character gets +2 strength. I think it's still good, but I've been voted down, so it goes under the sea. It's not a very interesting card, so let's move on to Flynn Rider, Confident Vagabond. It's an inkable cost 1, it's 1/3, and quest for 1.
We, again, kind of putting this under the sea. It's not the best Flynn Rider out there. The other shift one can shift onto the 2-cost one. This is just meh for us, really.
So the next one is Flynn Rider, his own biggest fan. It's a non-inkable cost 4. Quest for 4, but has an unique ability that it gets -1 more for each card in your opponent's hands. It's also evasive and shifted.
And we all agree that he's phenomenal, especially in discard focused decks. Might not go to all Emerald decks, to be honest, because by the time he comes out, opponent, and specifically if opponents, could have more cards.
I think it can be a great combination with Ban, the Hidden Witcher.
Yeah, or with any of the, or with, the 2-cost Flynn, who, when banished, the opponent has to discard a card.
Gaston, Scheming Suitor. It's an inkable cost 2. While 1 or more opponents have no cards in their hands, this character gets +3 strength. Yeah, he's not really interesting, so don't care. Little John, Loyal Friend. It's an inkable cost 6. It's 6/6 and quest for 2.
Big buddy, big lore. Still good.
It's nothing exciting, but it's decent. Next one is Lucifer, Cunning Cat. It's a non-inkable, cost 5. When you play this character, each opponent chooses and discards either 2 cards or 1 action card.
Yeah, we kind of put it to Under the Sea. It's, a card that makes you discard, but we already have a bunch of those that we kind of preferred over this one.
Otherwise, it's a bit weak for cost 5. Pain, Underworld Imp. It's an inkable, cost 2, and while this character has 5 strength or more, he gets +2 lore.
He's the only reason Panic might not be Don't Know, Don't Care, because he's able to give him the strength. So putting him to still good, there might be some interesting decks we can make with him.
Panic, Underworld Imp. It's a non-inkable, cost 3, and its ability is when you play this character, chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. If the chosen character is named Pain, he gets +4 instead.
Yeah, as I mentioned, he's going to Under the Sea. We're not putting him to still good because it seems very situational just to include this Panic to give Pain some extra boost. Maybe in future set when we have like 10 Pains and Panics, this can work, but just for Pain in a deck, we're putting him Under the Sea.
Pete, bad guy. It's an inkable, cost 5. It's a ward, and it has 2 abilities. One is Take That. Whenever you play an action, this character gets +2 strength this turn. And the other is Who's Next. While this character has 5 strength or more, he gets +2 lore.
Like, from the top of my head, I would maybe include him with Alice because of the +2 and then supporting, and then if he has more than 7, getting more lore, and that's all interesting. And I might try him in a deck where we have Minnie and Mickey in an action-based deck. So I definitely see him in interesting decks, but I'm not sure I see him in all decks.
I'm not sure it's a necessity, but I think it's a useful card, especially if you have more of these other cards which can give strength to other cards, and also if you have more actions.
Yeah, so you either have to have more actions, so maybe in a song deck, or you have to have support, so a Sapphire deck. So I really think it lives in a itty bitty space of the deck space. So I think we're convinced, right? It's tier 2.
Yeah. Prince John, greediest of all. It's a non-inkable, cost 3. It's a ward, and its ability is whenever your opponent discards 1 or more cards, you may draw a card for each card discarded.
Yeah, he is bare necessity. He is the rare card I'm looking the most to open. Gorgeous artwork, really fun to play with, because it's not only that you make your opponent suffer, but you also benefit from it. Like, how is that not fun? I want him. 4 of him, actually.
Yeah, I think we all agree that this is one of the best cards in this set. Queen of Hearts, quick tempered, it's a non-inkable, cost 2, and its ability Royal Rage. When you play this character, deal 1 damage to chosen damaged opposing character.
Yeah, so it's either still good or necessity in decks that do this kind of 1 damage tactic. But seeing all the characters with resist, that might not be so great. So it's either still good or a bit better.
Yeah, I would put this to still good. Next up is Ratigan, Criminal Mastermind. It's an inkable, cost 4, quest for 2, and it's evasive.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're not so big on evasives yet. We never really played full-on evasive decks. Maybe in this set it will be more viable, but so far we just see this as, still good.
Prey, Easygoing Firefly. It's an inkable, cost 5. It's free, and quest for 3, and it's evasive.
Yeah, he's a bit similar to Ratigan, but
It's a bit more balanced.
yeah, it definitely seems a bit more balanced with a bit higher strength and an increased lore count. So if Ratigan is good, he's definitely good as well.
The Queen, Disguise Peddler. It's a non-inkable, cost 3, and you can exert it to choose and discard a character card, and then give equal to the discarded character's lore count.
This one, when they revealed it, everyone agreed she's very interesting, but how good she is, we'll see. We definitely think she has huge powers, need her own deck, need cards that have high lore count. So, Emerald has a few, or maybe even Steel. A lot of people were like talking about Goofy. We will see who what deck she fits in, but we're giving her a benefit of the doubt.
Tiana, True Princess, it's an Inkable, cost 5, it's a 5/3 and quest for free. Yeah, it's obviously not a very exciting card, but still decent.
Personally, I just don't care for this card. We have so many cost 5 cards in Emerald alone that I don't think I would ever touch her. So for me, it's not a no. But for you guys, I know it's still pretty good. So yeah, let's put her under the sea.
Mirana, Fang Sheaf, Inkable, cost 5, it's 5/5 and quest for 2, has no abilities.
Moving on.
Let's move on to Bibidi Boo. It's a non-inkable, cost 3. Can return chosen character of yours to your hand to play another character with the same cost or less for free.
This card is amazing. There is so many opportunities with her. You can use it to Genie, you can use it to any card that has unplayability. You can use it with shift characters to play non-shift characters at that cost sooner. This is a necessity.
Next up is Bounce. It's an action, inkable, cost 2. Return chosen character of yours to your hand to return another chosen character to their player's hand.
This is a bit less impressive than Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, so, not tier 1 or 2, it's just, still good.
Hypnotize, it's an inkable, cost 3 action. Each opponent chooses and discards a card. Draw a card.
For this, we went with tier 2 because we just think if you're building a discard deck, it's an auto include. It does what you want it, makes the opponent discard.
You also get draw a card, or you can just ink it. It's definitely worth including the deck. Improvise, it's an inkable, cost 1 action. Chosen character gets +1 strength this turn, and you also draw a card.
We put it to still good. I think from my perspective, it's mainly because of the draw card ability. So if you're in trouble, you can use it. You can ink it, or you can just use it to draw a new card.
Although the draw a new card, it's not that great of an ability, because if you had not included this card in your deck, then you would be already having that other card. Pack Tactics, it's an inkable, cost 4 action. You gain 1 lore for each damage character opponents have in play.
I have tried this card in a few games, and I think it's very underappreciated. You can get a lot out of this in a tough situation, or as in the tight race at the end, where you can just play this and just gain 1 to significant number of lore. So I would definitely include this. Not in all decks, and you have to play around with this. So for now, it's still good. Could go to higher.
Ring the Bell, it's an inkable, cost 3 action, and banish chosen damage character. It's pretty straightforward, but also quite strong.
Yeah, as the Emerald hard removal, it goes to the second tier. You might not want to include in all, but it's quite close to it, to be honest. For now, it's tier 2.
And the last card in this set for Emerald is Ratigan's Marvelous Trap. It's a non-inkable, cost 3 item. And you can banish this item, and then each opponent loses 2 lore.
This was also a tough one. Some people think this is just not good for an item, really, but for us, it's still hitting the mark where we might consider it. It's still good. Not very special, but can be very useful. And that's it. We have the clear winners. It's Beast and Belle, the 2 legendaries, rightfully up in the top tier. And we have Cheshire Cat as a super rare up there, and 2 rares in the form of Prince John and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. So that's what we think and what we're looking to open. Tell us what you want to see in your booster packs, and hope you get what you wish for. And see you in the next one. Happy loring!